Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So we don't have a podcast yet.
There are a lot of ideas for podcasts that people have, but most of them have already been made.
That's really, yeah. So this is, I mean, we're recording this because, it's like the Oklahoma land rush right now. There's only so many podcasts that can get made, so we gotta kind of get out there, and at least stake our claim. Just putting a stake kind of in the fertile soil of podcasting.
There were a lot of Sooners
We
that
got
rushed in,
that's
and
yeah.
I don't know. It feels like a lot of the good stuff's taken. I mean, I like Murdere a lot, and Murder's done to
Unfortunately,
death.
Murder is dead. So this is kind of, we have to record something until we get an idea for a podcast. But as far as this actual recording goes, it's like Magritte said, Ceci n'est pas un pod. It's the treachery of podcasts.
I'm kind of excited about it because I used to hear about spirit mediums doing automatic writing, where they just start writing stream of consciousness and see where it takes them, and then something comes out that's completely original and not of their consciousness. And I think this could be really expansive.
Yeah. But also, people don't realize this, but they were all put out of work by the typewriter industry.
Oh yeah.
That's actually typewriter invented by a ghost. Just ironic.
Was that Ghost Rider on PBS?
That is. That's why he used the Times New Roman serif font and not Helvetica, which would have been way more useful for everyone trying to see what Ghost Rider was saying from a distance.
I think
It's a more readable font.
Yeah, he wants to keep his charges close.
His mystique. The Ghost Rider mystique. We're talking about Ghost Rider with a W.
Yes, not a flaming headed Nicolas Cage skull head.
Although I feel like he was trying to hold on to his mystique a lot too. Wasn't he like the son of the devil or something?
It's been too long since I've seen that film. I was never a fan of that particular comic character. So
it was a comic book.
I know the devil is in it. He has like he had chains that were on fire, which I don't think that you can actually set chains on fire. I think they just melt.
Okay. I have personally seen someone light a chain on fire.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I didn't want to get into it.
That's okay. You can't be an expert about everything, and I will freely admit I'm not a chain expert and apparently not a fire expert like I thought it was.
All right. So let's just do some brainstorming about what kind of podcast. Did you bring any ideas?
Well, as I recently had to speak at a funeral, I would possibly like to do a podcast entitled Gee, You Eulogy? And it could be a show in which someone, we would need a little listener input, so I don't know what the first episode would be, but someone needs to have someone that they love who dies first.
Okay.
That's step one.
So.
Step two, write to us and give us, a few highlights here and there. And I would like to spitball a eulogy for this person I've never met who lost someone they love who I've never met, because I'm worried that they'll be bad at doing that themselves.
Right. So you want to... Wait, are you going to use this to... Are we trying to give people a way of finding out if they're gonna get a good eulogy.
We could do that as well. I mean, mostly I just have a really big head, and it makes me sad to think that people are going up there and speaking about someone they love without my gravitas
Oh, I see. I
and
see.
way with words. But you are right. That's probably a better podcast because we can get some sort of feedback.
We could maybe
Like direct feedback, not.
yeah, we could do a thing where like people write in with what they want their eulogy to be,
Oh,
and then we record it.
there could be some pretty
They
intense
just
fact
play
checking.
it. We could have like exciting music. We could also help them like set up like fake credentials before they die, so that like when their family goes to write the eulogy, they're like, "Well, I never knew that he was a 4-star general."
Yeah, I'm actually already more excited about where this is going, and I kind of want to drop the eulogy thing, and I want this to be a "This Is Your Life" the podcast, and have somebody just nominate someone without knowing. I do a bunch of research about that person, and then they have to sit here in this basement and let me talk about them, not at them, but yeah. Once again, I do not want them on mic. Keep them away. This.
I was saying more of a thing, but I guess it wouldn't be a podcast, a service where we just plant fake awards around someone's house before they die or after they die, so then their family thinks they're learning all this interesting kind of like a reverse "This Is Your Life."
Yeah,
Like,
it's
literally,
like
'cause
everybody
they're
always wants
dead.
you to go over to their house and delete their porno. But this is
Exactly.
like, we're gonna make you look good, not just barely presentable.
We're gonna plant a bunch of fake check stubs that are like that make your bereaved loved ones think that you secretly won the lottery and then donated it all to charity.
Yeah.
Because that will make them think that you were a better person than you were, but it will also burn their asses so hard to know they didn't inherit any of that money.
Yeah. I
It's not really a podcast idea, I suppose.
No, but it is a great business idea.
Yeah.
And some of these podcasts or podcast ideas that we have could be spun off into businesses. I'm not opposed to multiple revenue streams.
I mean, we are starting this to make a business. For too long, we haven't been getting our voices heard.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen that this is a whole new revenue stream for America.
Yeah, I'd like to provide many services and many podcasts. I mean, there's only so much time in the day, but
I'm
gonna give all that I
we
got.
just want those crumbs from your table, Mr. Rogan.
Oh man, do you think that what would you do to set Joe Rogan's house up so that his family thinks that he's cool?
Oh, I mean, I guess I would. Okay, first of all, we need to print up some fake pay stubs to make his family think that news radio was never canceled. And then also, like some sort of really official looking document, or like maybe like a memo pad, like a personalized memo pad. We'll have to get like a whole stack of them printed, but we'll just use one of them. Like it says, like from the desk of Barack Obama.
Oh, okay. I also was gonna go news radio heavy and just try to put pictures of the cast of news radio around, like up to date pictures, so it seems like he kept in touch, and those wonderful people still have an influence on his life.
And we'll computer age Phil Hartman to make it look like
Oh my God!
he faked his death, and he's just been living a private life out of the lights of celebrity, And he's also been staying in touch with Joe Rogan.
They play golf together.
Yeah,
We'll
we'll
at least once a
Photoshop
month.
that. We'll put Phil Hartman through the Face app, and then we'll, then we'll Photoshop that into a picture of Joe Rogan at the golf course, and people will be like, "Well, I'll be goddamned. I'm not sad about Phil Hartman anymore."
Yeah, he pulled an Elvis. He's
Yeah.
fine. He just got a little bit too big. It got a little too real for him,
Yeah.
and he wanted
The
to get away
women
from his
chasing
wife.
him down the street. Oh, his wife. That's right. Yeah, maybe he just wanted to cheat on his wife.
Yeah, and that probably would have been bad news if he hadn't faked his own death and done such a great job of it.
Right. Right, but what I was saying was to get this pad that says from the desk of Barack Obama, and then it says, "Dear Joe, just wanted to say it's official and it's a law. Being a podcaster is not lame." And then his family will have to admit, like, "Oh, God, the cool president said it."
I believe that Obama believes that. I don't feel like I wouldn't feel bad about that. That's not a lie. It's a forgery. But it's just...
He's the first president to go on a podcast.
He seems like he enjoys podcasting.
The only president to go on a podcast, I think.
We haven't had a
Nobody's-
Clinton podcast?
Well, I guess sitting president.
Okay. Yeah, okay. That's true.
Anyway, I don't recognize Clinton as a legitimate president.
Oh?
Yeah, it's under not because I disrespect him, but because I respect the law so much. There was you probably never heard of it. It's the Snuts Act. Yeah.
Snuts Act?
Mm-hmm. These snuts act in your mouth. All right, I got an idea here.
Okay,
I
hit
wrote
me
this
with it.
down. It says, "We pod a zoo."
Ooh.
I kind of just started with the title on that one. "We pod a zoo."
Okay. I've got a couple
It's one
ways
of those,
we can
you
go
know,
with
like where
that.
they do like a play on a famous phrase like "God save America." You know how we're always going around like "God save America."
Yeah, I say it.
God
Several
save America. That's the song that we all. Yeah. So then they made that "Pod Save America." You get it?
I get it, but I'm not aware of it. What is how do they save America?
I think one of them owns Indiegogo. So they're a job creator.
Yeah, that's way more than I've done to save America.
I
can't.
Okay, so how would we pod a zoo?
All right, one.
I guess it would be how do we god a zoo first, and then we have to adapt it into podcast form.
Yeah, I was thinking it was just a slant rhyme between bot and pod.
Yeah, I guess it was. No,
Which I wasn't. I believe in all rhymes are equal, be they slant or straight. The rhymes are all good.
Boy, I don't know how I missed that.
I mean, we are talking about the is that a Cameron Crowe movie?
Sure.
We bought a zoo. I think that's. But anyway, an idea of what this podcast could be.
Hang on, I wanted to say how I would god a zoo.
You got it up.
I flood it.
Yep, that's
That'll do it.
that's how you do it. Are you going to hope that there's someone at the Ark Adventure who's just going to be like, well, I mean, it's right here.
Well, I'm just flooding the zoo.
Oh, just the zoo. I thought you.
Because I'm God. And those animals be getting too uppity.
Okay. So is this going to be a podcast mostly of drowning animal noises?
No, it'll be like a dramatic retelling
Oh.
of the of the time that I flooded the zoo.
And each, I'm guessing this one's going to be monthly and not weekly, because I don't know how frequently you can, I don't think that the Louisville Zoo can recover from a mass flooding every single week.
This is what I was thinking was like the real question we need to research is like how many zoos are there in the world, and how well do they communicate with each other / how many can I get to before I start getting barred from entry?
I don't think I've ever seen one of those pictures up in the like a ticket booth for a zoo saying like, "Do not sell a ticket to this man." But I they do that a lot in liquor stores.
Do not allow this man to buy a ticket. He unleashed a plague of locusts.
He took the panda's firstborn, and it was the only baby panda of the past 3 years. Real tragedy.
Yeah, so, hang on. I'm just gonna do some research here to see how many zoos there are. Oop. I don't know how to shut that off. So, it looks like... How many zoos are there in the United States? There are fewer than you would expect in the United States. Didn't have to say it that way twice.
These are public zoos, right?
I mean, I would guess that the number of private zoos is dwarfed by the number of
I don't know. I
public
just feel like
zoos.
there are a lot of rich eccentrics. So I feel like the number of private zoos has probably gone through the roof in recent years.
I guess that's true.
I know. I mean, I'm just thinking about Michael Jackson. He had a private zoo.
I think Elon Musk is working on an ark, so it's probably just going to be him and Grimes and then all the animals.
Yeah.
But do you want to take a guess at how many zoological facilities are in the country?
I am going to guess 1,217.
You are over. It is approximately 500 zoological facilities in the U.S.
Dang. Yeah,
So,
okay.
what I think this means is that I could get to a lot of them. It looks like, they're extremely underfunded. There's so few of them, so, and I would imagine that, once I start flooding the zoos, that, then they would be so overwhelmed by the, like, shift in demand. Like, as the neighboring zoos get busier from people flocking there because the zoo they used to go to got flooded and all the animals drowned and that plague of frogs descends upon them.
So once again, we have another revenue stream in which we're kind of just blackmailing zoos into.
I didn't think about that. Yeah, we could work it from both ends on that.
We could
I am
also
now
become a
realizing-
water removal company. Just get in there with a bunch of sponges.
I am now just realizing that if I am going to pod/god a zoo, I am going to have sex with one of the animals and bear a half human, half animal child that then can die and atone for the sins of all of the animals.
Well, you know that you can do it with a bull because the Minotaur.
Right?
But it's been done. It's like every podcast.
It's true. Oh, yes.
You know?
Every podcast has a minotaur. What was I thinking?
I'm trying to think of an animal that is bullish. Or I guess just cow, because
Yeah.
You're gonna be a human father, but the Minotaur was born of a bull father and a human mother.
It's more of a blend than a half and
Yeah.
half. Like you don't see that like Frank Gorshin character from Star Trek actually running around when black people and white people mate.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that episode.
But once you remember it, boy, it makes you think, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Aren't we all so very similar? Anyway, I'm realizing that the Cowboys of Moo Mesa kind of already fall into that category of a humanoid cow, not so much a half and half, but like it's hard to tell where one ends and the other begins.
Yeah. Those were gunslinging cowmen, right?
Right.
Okay, or yeah. They didn't have hooves, did they? Did they have humanoid fingers? Because I can't picture that part of like I can only see the most basic image of those guys.
All right, I'm looking at this here. All right. No signs yet. Their hands are completely hidden. Okay, they have human hands. Yes.
All right,
And they're wearing boots.
That's key, because I don't know how one would animate a hoof pulling a trigger, and that's probably the most important thing those guys did.
Well, that was the problem on Brave Star. Do you remember Brave Star was another cartoon. He was a cowboy. And he had a horse that could talk. It was like made of, I don't know if it was a robot. It had like plate mail. And yeah, his horse could, when not giving him a ride, stand up on its hind legs and fire a big laser gun with hooves.
Okay.
They never really explained how that worked. You could just kind of see, like, it was like the animators just didn't want to even draw that part. It's just kind of blurred out. Anyway, what was this about?
This
Me
was
having sex with an animal in the zoo?
Yeah, like getting you a Minotaur son who isn't played out. You know, I don't know what the name is, because I guess Minotaur, it was King Minos of Crete. So that's the minnow part, and the Taurus cow. So I guess we're gonna have to. I don't know. Any animals been striking your fancy lately?
I mean, I've seen some birds that kind of look like Taylor Swift.
Not to keep it too close to the bull. I just like animals. I want to make sure that this child is healthy and strong and not.
I mean, he's a human sacrifice. It doesn't matter.
That's true. That's true.
It might be,
Because I was just thinking like llama, alpaca, wildebeest, and maybe I should free my mind and think something a little more left of center.
think about weirder stuff I could put my dick in.
Yeah, man. Or like we could pick a fish and you just have to go on a pile of eggs.
Ooh. Now, wouldn't that be easy?
Yeah, I mean a lot of people fuck dolphins, but.
A lot.
I assume. It seems like it'd be easier for people to wrap their minds around that than to know where an egg clutch might be and fertilize. It's just. I would say significantly more people have had sex with a dolphin than have masturbated onto a clutch of fish eggs.
That's true. And you don't see any dolphin people walking around.
I think it's because the babies just drown.
They're not, yeah.
Yeah, I guess it matters which side it comes out. Like, I mean, if it's got a dolphin head in the blowhole and all, but if it's just a baby head with a fishtail.
Oh, I thought you
fucked.
meant like which.
Excuse my language. I'm sorry.
Which side of the coast it's coming out, like the shore,
yeah.
right?
That's true. There are like some warm water currents that'd probably be a little bit better for a half human.
Oh, I meant like which vagina is on land.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. I mean,
You were just
I'm picturing
assuming
myself in this mode, and I wasn't.
Yeah, it's so fragically masculine. that that you just assumed that it would be a man fucking a lady dolphin every time.
I mean, it would be probably a little bit easier than the other way around because the dolphins are already in the water.
I
You
don't
can go
know.
find a dolphin, but find a dolphin, put it in your pickup truck, and drive it back home.
Yeah, I guess I didn't think of it that way. Whose turf was the sex being had on?
Yeah.
These are all important questions, and we pod a zoo. All right, yeah, I think this one is this ain't it, Chief.
All right.
What else do you got?
Okay, I am. One area, unlike podcasts, that I don't think we've had nearly enough innovation in is sports. We got the same old sports for hundreds of years. They came up with 6 different balls, and then they said, that's it. And as a big fan of Calvin and Hobbes growing up and Calvin Ball, I think that we could definitely have a podcast where we invent/fix the sports for people to play and have fun.
No, I like this idea because I feel like there's a lot of potential there.
And I think that I don't have this idea as fully formulated as some of these other corkers we've had, but
The two so far that we've...
it seems like for the most part with the ball, it's just a size thing. This is going to be a sphere. Except football and rugby make an oval. Nobody's ever had a square ball that I can think of.
yeah.
So I would like to have some aspect of stacking in one of the sports. I mean, we're going to have to keep coming up with them week after week, but...
Yeah, well, I'm just thinking about, the branding. Like, you already got the nickname.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to go out there.
Once you get some people playing this, it's just apparel out the wazoo.
Going to go out there and do the old square ball.
And, think about how you can get different bounces with that based on which... what the angle of entry with the ground that the corner's at.
You never know which way this crazy ball is going to go.
Yeah, and I don't know. Do you think it should be super bouncy, or do you think that... I don't know. I'm just jumping right in to the first episode, I guess, on this one. But
yeah, I think... What if we could invent a ball that was sometimes bouncy and sometimes, deflated? So it would, just randomly inflate and deflate throughout the game. So sometimes it bounce, fly off in another direction. Other times, kerplop.
Man.
Just lands in the middle of the tundra or whatever you play in.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna go first game frozen tundra of Lambeau Field every time.
Different biodomes or biomes.
Also,
or biodomes.
The deflate and inflate thing, I almost wish you could just use your god powers to change the mass of the ball. So at times it's 5 ounces, at times it's 5 pounds, maybe sometimes it's 500 pounds. Like when is the foot breaker gonna come into play?
So I'm God in this scenario as well.
If you can flood a zoo, I feel like you could have control over the mass of one simple ball.
This is why no one has ever had super god powers before.
Yeah.
I mean, I think. Hang on, I'm going back to. I'm gonna search here.
It just took them taking all the podcast ideas, and that's how you're going to discover these hidden powers, just out of necessity.
All right, so I've just searched, has a zoo ever flooded? And It looks like there was some flooding in Georgia, and a hippo stormed the town. And then there's also another zoo here in another country with a name that I can't really pronounce. Tbilisi. What happened next? Question mark. World news. 4 days after the flood, an escaped tiger killed another man. So, looks like there's really nothing we can do as far as IP law to protect We Pod a Zoo if that's the direction we're going in with flooding the zoo like God would.
I don't know.
We've gone back to the flooding the zoo podcast.
Yeah. All right. Let's go back to fixing sports.
Fixing sports.
With square balls.
Okay.
Another idea to add to the square ball.
Stack 'em.
I love bats. Cricket bats, baseball bats, but I would like some very long bats. People they're club-like usually, and I was a big fan of stickball when I was a child back in the 1930s.
Sports ball.
So a lot of times just a broom handle, something that a little guy can get his fingers around, but that's usually max 5 feet long, 4 feet long.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to add a very long, skinny bat into this game, like something.
Well, I was thinking, I like the idea of like a stackable ball. Maybe like there's a bunch of them. Maybe there's something with stacking them up, and then the guy with the long, skinny bat like tries to knock it down.
Yeah. It's feeling like there's probably going to be a keeper in this, and he's just got to decide whether he's going to duck. Like it's how many of his square balls is he going to be willing to let the man with the long stick?
So maybe that's the game: is that the ball is not the item in play, but both teams have like end zones, miles and miles apart, and in the middle there's one long bat, and both teams are fighting for the bat while at either end of the field they're stacking up the square balls as fast as they can, trying to make the sturdiest structure out of square balls, like it's Minecraft.
Yeah,
and they both.
And the higher you stack it, the harder
Mm.
it's going to be to knock them off, because
So
then
the
the
majority
angle
of your
that he has to
players
hold his long
are
stick
at
is
either ends of the field. They're all building team, but then there's strikers too that run out into the center of this mile-long field and just start doing battle for that bat and trying to get the bat into the other end zone and whack the ball stack.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I think Ballstack, that's the name of the game.
Okay.
But I don't.
That wasn't like we didn't conceptualize this podcast so much as
We
just create a great sport.
Yeah, I think we just invented a good sport. So we're gonna have to mail this episode of this recording to ourselves so that we can patent
Yeah.
Ballstack.
Ballstack, yeah. I'm happy with that, though. I think it's still a viable podcast. I don't know if I'm in it to do it every week because my new passion is Ballstack.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
so maybe the idea is just a podcast about Ballstack.
Yeah,
Just singular. I want to
okay.
keep my focus on the prize, and that's
mean-
getting a really long stick in every little boy's hand.
I think the problem that we're going to run into with this is now we've already invested all this money in a podcast recorder.
Yeah, that's true.
So, and I mean, we're paying the server fees to publish, and bribing some Indian guy to generate a bunch of fake clicks on our Apple Podcasts and writing fake reviews. How are we gonna find the time, let alone the money, to get the Ballstack off the ground?
You leave that to me. I mean, I can make a really long stick. I just got to tape a bunch of broomsticks together. square ball technology, it's not there yet, but I'm gonna invest heavily in the right industries and put a bug in a few ears and try to get something to happen on that.
Yeah, I support that 100%, except for the putting bugs in ears. That freaks me out.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll put a couple of $1 bills in shirt pockets then.
Okay. I have here. I have another idea. This is I just wrote down female reboot of Marc Maron.
Oh God. D- I feel like this is
I feel like
as mythical a creature as your hippopotamus son.
I feel like this has legs
I mean, it would have to.
and
to
it
get
knows how to
around.
use them.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like it more now.
To get around.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I think this is hot right now. This is a premium Hollywood business model.
Okay, when you, I do think that this is a good idea. At first, I was just thinking of someone who had like a woman who has the exact peccadillos and different just say problems that Marc Maron has, and I don't know that that's a person that I've ever come close to meeting. But if
Wait,
you're talking
are
about
you talking
someone
about-
like just an honest conversation between two women that pulls no punches and dwells on one's profession, but also
Wait, I'm hung up on the idea that you said that the person who is the opposite gender, but with all of the picadillos of Marc Maron.
mm-hmm.
So you've never met like a older lady who has a bunch of cats. And
Well, that part
gripes about eating a whole pint of ice cream.
Okay, now that you're
Twice divorced.
maybe it's just I couldn't imagine. I don't think I've ever.
Oh, you've never pictured a woman having Marc Maron's podcast, you sexist son of a bitch.
Maybe I am, and I'm thinking it's just because
and that's
I couldn't.
exactly
I
why
couldn't
we
imagine.
need this female reboot of Marc Maron.
It's mostly that I couldn't imagine a woman being being so willing to
I'm not gonna make you dig yourself out of this hole.
to interrupt as much as he does, and to just be willing to get into a deep conversation with someone and seem, like he cares so little about it.
Yeah.
Like just someone who, like a woman who's just like so desperately waiting for their turn to talk while they're in the process of having a very deep personal conversation, and one that they're recording for everyone to listen to, and that relies on famous guests wanting to do it.
That reminds me, AJ, who are your guys?
Who are my guys?
Who are your guys?
I don't understand.
That's what the Marc Maron man always says to people.
Oh, who are my guys? Well,
He's talking about old records.
Oh yeah, I have listened to WTF, but I'm not a big fan of it, and it's been about 5 or 6 years since I've listened to it.
This would have to be called "Who Are Your Ladies?"
Who are your ladies?
Who are your women?
Well, the ones I listened to, first one popped ahead, Blondie, Miss Debbie Harry, definitely one of my girls.
Yeah, okay,
That's a good one.
I'm realizing though that neither one of us are women.
Yeah, we are not
So
the right people for this. Like
if this is gonna be our podcast, we'd have to get bottom surgery. I mean, I already got the top, but that was just for fun.
yeah, that's just for squeeze.
But yeah, I mean, if I go and do the bottom two, then I mean,
Well, don't do the bottom too soon because you got to make that hippo baby first, and then you already got the equipment to feed him, which is great.
well, I'm just
But
realizing that they might as well just do the operation on Marc Maron and get that be the best
would be
way
the
of
best way
doing
to
a
do it.
female reboot.
I just don't. I think that's the easiest way to get a woman to be as rude as Marc Maron is.
Could you?
I don't know why. Like the 50% of the human population, I'm like they can't be that rude.
Could you imagine if that's how they did the female reboot of the Ghostbusters?
I'm just thinking about the trauma that a dying Harold Ramis would have to go through to make that happen.
Just Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd get sex change operation.
I think Dan Aykroyd would do it
I feel like he would.
to have gotten Ghostbusters 3 made. I mean, it seemed like he was going to die on that hill. I didn't think it was ever going to happen, but
if he went to the trouble of getting full gender reassignment surgery, I'd let him make another Nothing But Trouble.
I haven't seen that movie since I was a child.
I would buy every ticket for every movie in the Nothing But Trouble verse if a fully gender transitioned Dan Aykroyd was at the helm.
Would this gender switch Dan Aykroyd also be in the Nothing But Trouble makeup?
Yeah, that'd be so funny when he comes out as a man and he's doing drag.
Mm-hmm. I also want Marc Maron to get it so that this Dan Aykroyd can be on.
I just keep using the wrong pronouns for trans Dan Aykroyd. I'm very sorry. I kept saying he comes out, and clearly that was the wrong pronoun.
Yes, yeah.
We're all learning here.
Yeah.
We're all adjusting. Anyway.
I think I did it too. I'm sorry.
All right.
Where were we? I lost track. Oh,
this was supposed to be the female reboot of Marc Maron.
Okay, all right.
I think it's a non-starter.
I mean, it's one of the more doable ones that we've spitballed. I mean, we could reassign ourselves and follow the teachings of Maron and possibly do this one. We don't have to have god powers for it.
Yeah. I guess the real problem that I'm running into is the fact that that neither one of us is female. So
I think people would hate this podcast, but sometimes people just can't turn off something they hate.
That's true. We'd be like the 700 club of podcasts.
Uh-huh.
Just tons of hate watchers.
Do they have a podcast of the 700 Club yet?
Oh, I'm sure they do.
They got it.
They must. I mean, don't they have like a whole network? I mean, wait, there is like a network that like still belongs to Pat Robertson that just plays like crazy crap the rest of the day. What am I thinking of?
What is? I know what you're talking about.
It's the Disney ABC, the Disney Family Channel.
Yeah.
Because they still legally have to show the 700 Club like once a day on the Disney Family Channel. Anyway, I guess that's the reason we can't do the Marc Maron
Yeah,
thing.
I agree. That one's a pass. We do have a few great business ideas, but I don't think we have a podcast yet.
Is there a bug on your piece of paper there?
There is. It's very small, and he's not bothering me at all.
Is he a flying bug or a crawling bug?
He's a little paper bug. You know how you get an old library book, and a little guy comes out on the spine, and I mean I've grown, so I'm not smashing this one, but I'd always smash it and make a little tiny red smear on the library
you could
book.
Smush him.
No, I'm letting him go. He's
do
in
your
my
thing,
house.
buddy.
He's on my paper.
All right, fine.
He slowed down. I don't know.
Killed a big brown spider in my bathtub today. Is that what you want? You want my house full of bugs?
I mean, there's always going to be a little bit of bugs. If it was a cockroach, I'd step on it.
All right.
I promise.
Do you have any other ideas?
Oh, any more ideas?
Okay. Oh, I have. We have one here. I put out the call for podcast ideas online, and Sean writes in the Colin Powell podcast. This is a historical retelling of all the times Colin Powell got in a fight. It's Colin Powell.
Oh, like a Batman punch. There's a big pow that comes out when
Colin with an I, or is it Colin? It's Colin.
It's Colin. You're saying it right.
I feel like the middle school demographic is going to have a field day with the phrase Colin Pow.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Because that's where poop go from.
I wonder about. I mean, maybe it's what made him such a strong individual, having to tell everybody that his name was Colin when it was spelled like it could be Colin. I don't know if he had a conversation with his mother and father and just like, can I just be Colin?
Yeah.
To everybody, you can call me Colin. But I think it's like the boy named Sue sort of situation where he was just a boy named Colin.
Yeah. They're like, how's that toughening you up, Dookie Balloon? That's really what a colon is, I think. I'm no doctor.
Yeah. You're giving me some more ball ideas, which is helpful for my sports podcast.
For your balls.
Yeah.
I feel like we got nothing here. Hang on.
I mean, I saw some of these. I think that a lot of them were not necessarily bad ideas, but just more ideas that have kind of been done in one way or another. I don't think that they are on the cutting edge of originality that we're looking for.
Okay, so I didn't tell you this before, but I built this computer.
Ooh, surprise.
And I in the event that we couldn't come up with a podcast, we built this computer and I fed into it 1,000 of the most popular podcasts of all time.
Okay.
And then I told it to use that information to come up with some names for podcasts that might be similar to. Just basically, it's an artificial intelligence, and I taught it about podcasts and then asked it for the name of a podcast.
Okay.
So we can just...
That's very exciting. I like the idea that it's these already very powerful podcasts, and we're going to turn them up and take their
everything
power.
it knows about what makes a good podcast and then giving us the name of our podcast. Oh. So we have to kind of work backwards from the name, but yeah, I'm just gonna fire it up here. Now
this is how I know it's working.
This is how you know it's working.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right. We have okay, so we got a long piece of tape here with a bunch of just procedurally generated names of podcasts. You see anything on there that you like?
Let's see. No. Pain.
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 Just the word pain.
Just the word pain.
And what are we gonna do with that?
Let's see. I know that a lot of people are in pain. People complain about it a lot. And I just think that they'd like a podcast that would remind them of that.
Okay.
Yeah, just a daily reminder
Of pain.
To don't deny it. You know, a lot of people try to bravely soldier on, stiff upper lip and all that, but
Don't deny it. Supply it.
correct. It's going to be about a minute long, and it's just going to be a reminder. Hey, you're in pain. Feel that shit.
All right. Yeah. Here's one that I like. It says, wait. ... Don't want your dog? So I guess this would be, dog podcasts are very popular, as are question podcasts, or I guess like game show, trivia type stuff. So maybe this is like we would like do like a live NPR game show podcast, that sort of thing. But then every week we confront a bad dog owner and threaten to take their dog away.
Yeah.
It's like a game show that's also an intervention.
Okay. I like that, and make them answer trivia questions that are germane to caring for said dog, or are we just going to go off book with that and just be like, if you don't know who the original host of The Tonight Show is, we're taking your dog.
Maybe the questions are like a means test where they don't know it, but we've already taken their dog, and then based on the answers they give, we determine whether or not they should be a pet owner. So, then if they answer the questions wrong, like if we're like, oh, should you leave your dog outside if it's cold? If you're cold, is your dog cold? And they're like, no. And then we're like, oh, wait, don't want your dog?
I do like the idea of springing it on them. Like, I don't want them to know that, like, even though this is a podcast, I want the dramatic reveal of the dog.
Exactly.
Like definitely a ripped sheet. Like, maybe we can get the rustling on mic so that, and maybe the shocked, oh, that's that dog. I don't care. It's probably going to be a lot of people who are just you got my dog.
That's our season closer right there, is the one where someone doesn't even recognize the dog once we pull the sheet off of it. We're like, wait, don't want your dog? And they're like, where's my dog? And we're like, exactly, you motherfuck.
Yeah.
This is the podcast version. They'll beep it out on NPR.
Yeah.
This is definitely
so you're not gonna apologize every time you say the F word like I do in my day-to-day life? No. I can't stop myself, but I can be proactive about
I've got no F words.
Fences.
No F words given.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
That's my attitude. You got anything else you see on this list?
Absolutely. This machine is way smarter than me. I gotta hand it to you. It's a wonderful machine. It came up with the idea for House, which I'm gonna assume is House the podcast, which I think that there are a lot of episode guide kind of podcasts where people like chop it up and try to do analysis, and I don't think that enough podcasts are going the way of old time radio, and I'd be just jazzed up to the stars to try to do a podcast that retells all the many wonderful stories in the House TV series.
All right. Now I'm doing my due diligence because since we're getting into like some intellectual property that we don't own.
I don't think Hugh Laurie's gonna mind.
I just looked up to see if there were. I just searched House MD podcasts, and now I'm on Reddit. And ooh, do you know? Do you know Sonic the Hedgehog is pregnant? I don't even know.
There's just
I don't even know when that happened. Wink. We'd pot a zoo. Anyway, no, I'm on the House MD subreddit, and it says, this is from user Kexdose, writes, podcasts? I've tried to search this subreddit, but no luck. Aren't there any House MD podcasts where the hosts talk about each episode? Blushing emoji. And then we got 6 responses here. I really doubt such a podcast exists. House has been over for far too long for me to imagine that anyone's making an episode by episode. Oh,
that's why
shots fired.
That's why we don't need the podcast. The first Redditor was speaking about. We need retellings. People have forgotten. It's been too long. It's growing fuzzy, fading into the ether, and I just like to grab onto it and pull it back to earth, pull it back to life. Read all those diagnoses anew. I don't know if we can get Hugh Laurie. That would be ideal. Probably not. But yeah. I think you'd be a good stand-in for him.
Hello, I'm Hugh Laurie. Oh, wait, he didn't...
Yeah, and if they start giving us some bullshit guff about... Excuse me, I'm sorry about saying the BS word. If they give us guff about that, we'll just change his first name. It was Gregory House in the show. This is... I can't think of another name other than Gregory.
Gorgery.
The Gorgon House.
We also got so then
you got another good one?
Oh, I was just gonna finish up.
Oh yeah, the Reddit.
They argue about the fact that there's a Scrubs podcast and a Buffy the Vampire Slayer podcast. And then someone says, I listened to a Twin Peaks podcast as I watched through it, so I suppose it's possible. And then Agent 545 writes, maybe we could gather some people here and be the first. And I'm just looking, this was 3 years ago, so clearly that's been done. Back to the list.
Do you say clearly like they... When he said congregate here, he was talking about at his house, and he just invited everybody over, and there is a very successful house podcast, and we should...
They all moved in together.
Yeah.
They call it the House.
Very good.
All right, next I'm looking at this list, and I'm going to go with Murder My Brooklyn Monsterio. Murder My Brooklyn Monsterio. I'm just going to, just real quick, I'm hopping back on the computer to make sure that this doesn't already exist.
Okay, that's a good call. And also... is a Brooklyn Monsterio different than a Kentucky Monsterio? Because I haven't encountered many Monsterios.
I mean, you got like.
Is it just cooler? I always get a complex when somebody's from Brooklyn. I'm just like, I'm not cool enough to talk to you.
This guy with his mustache and his.
He's got a really cool Monsterio.
He's selling chocolate. It's supposed to be real fancy chocolate.
People from that might.
Wait, do we know the same Monsterio?
I think we do.
Well, then I mean, on the one hand, It'd make it easier to murder him, I guess. But on the other hand, I mean, he seems like a cool guy. I don't know that I want to take a Monsterio's life.
Play God like that? No way.
No way. And I've said it many times. I will never play God. I will not even entertain the idea of playing God. Never again will I flood the zoo.
It's in his hands.
I have made that promise, and I have shown you a rainbow to send you that message. Every time you see a rainbow flag, that's what it means. It's my personal promise to stop flooding the zoo.
It's a really popular promise. People hated all the zoos being flooded every
People
week.
were so mad at me. I had to make all those flags to win them back.
They put them up there to remind Nate that never again.
Never again. You have my word on it. You got anything else on this list that seems promising?
We might be treading some well-worn territory here, but I think doing it with a different tact. Why secrets? Which I think would probably be just a not angry, not too paranoid take on conspiracy. Just some very level-headed, fact-checked conspiracy theories. Just we don't want to go crazy with this.
Yeah.
You know, very down to earth, and just for people who wonder, like, why?
Why?
Why secrets?
So you want to do like smaller conspiracies?
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
just
someone keeps putting their garbage in my garbage can.
yeah, just like that.
Why?
Yeah. And just I can't say enough how much I'd like the outlook of this podcast to be open. Why would we ever do this? Why would anybody have conspiracy theories when we can just elucidate this and get it over with?
Yeah.
Get it over and done with. Like, why
knock,
let
knock.
something
Hello?
fester? Yeah.
Yes, Area 51. Are there aliens in there? No? Okay, goodbye.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Knock,
Just
knock.
try
Hey,
to go into it like
Mr. Peterson, are you putting your soda bottles in my trash can because yours is overflowing? No? Okay, goodbye.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Yeah, I don't want to
Where did those soda
spend too
bottles
much
come
time
from,
on
though?
any of these. Just like get straight to the point. Cut out the many middlemen and just get straight at that truth.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. But where did those soda bottles keep coming from?
Probably guy's walking to work and has a soda every day when he walks to work,
We're
passes
gonna
your
have
house,
to get
and
some cameras.
yeah, why secrets? I mean, if you're gonna throw something away in my trash can, please leave a note.
Anything else? Let's see. I've got I like not this we draft. That sounds. I don't know.
Now on that one is draft spelled like someone would draft a letter, or is it like draft like pouring a beer?
Ooh. Well, it could be either one in America.
That's true.
So we would have to make a different version. We'd have to like sell it. You know how like The Office was really popular, and then like they made that British version of it.
It made everybody bummed out.
Yeah. And it was so unpopular that it was only like one season long in England.
Yeah, they canceled that fast.
Yeah. So what if we could do something like that with Not This We Draft if we made it about
But
beer?
it would be draft.
It'd be drog. You know, how like they spelled jail gowl over there. They're like, get in the gowl. Yeah, I don't know. What is Not This We Draft? It sounds like we're writing a constitution for beer.
That that could work.
Like a beer constitution.
There kind of was one of those though. Aren't there there was some act in Munich that the Oktoberfest beers are brewed by, some sort of quality edict or other. But I mean that's real old. We could update the shit out of that.
Okay, I looked up Oktoberfest rules, and it says backpacks and large bags in general are not allowed. It also says bags and backpacks with a volume of more than 3 liters and or larger than 20 centimeters by 15 centimeters by 10 centimeters are not allowed to be taken into the showgrounds, parentheses, Weissen. I'm clicking on more items to see if there's anything about the beer in here. Which bags and rucksacks are allowed at the Weissen? Okay, so it looks like it's mostly just rules about luggage.
Okay. Well, I mean, it could definitely be expanded upon. Can you hit me with the name of that podcast one more time?
Not this, we draft.
Not this, we draft. What do you think the not this? I mean, I'm focusing on the we draft for sure, but
I guess it would have to be something like like this ain't it, Chief. But that's our catchphrase would be not this, we draft.
Okay.
Chief.
Okay. That's pretty good. That might be the one. But I also have, in the same sort of vein, the wording on this one is fairly poetic. It's, stay, the baseball of threeds and the bad Murdere's Hard's universe.
Wow, that's the baseball of threeds and the bad murderer's Hard's universe.
Yes.
That's
Which I've often thought that sports journalism could be improved if it was all written by Lewis Carroll in his Jabberwock language.
That definitely feels like it's in that vein.
So I guess that would be a lot of work, though.
That would be.
Because you'd have to watch a whole baseball game. And no.
I'm searching podcast advice to see if well, it's showing me there's a advice podcasts. Apparently, this is a thing where people just write in or call in, and then the hosts give advice. Like we could totally, I feel like we could do that. We have all these great ideas for business.
Yeah,
we could just make like a business advice podcast.
It's kind of beautiful because there are a lot of places our heads are heading. There are a lot of thoughts bouncing around up here, and I can't do everything, but I can influence somebody else. Maybe somebody else makes square ball long stick for me, and I don't have to just because I do such a good job of telling.
Ring, hello, advice podcast. Yes,
hello.
I need a sport.
How about one with a square ball that's heavy or not, and you got to stack them, and a guy stands in the middle of the field with the longest stick you've ever seen and tries to knock him over.
Well, thank you. I'm a millionaire now.
Next.
All right, I think we have our podcast.
Okay.
The Advice
I
Podcast.
Agree. For now and forever, The Advice Podcast.
The Advice Podcast.
That's the title we're going with, right? The Advice Podcast.
Yeah.
I've never heard of.
Hang on, let me look that up.
It's not on your Your computer didn't come up with that.
There is not a podcast called The Advice Podcast. Hang on, I'm double checking. I'm going into iTunes to see. How do I... Okay. The...
This is going to be just a coup if we can get this one. Because
there's How to Talk to Girls, Become a Better Man, Best Stocks to Buy.
one thing I do want to...
There is no podcast called The Advice Podcast. That could be ours. It's free real estate.
Yeah. And I just want to go ahead and air this out. I'm a little bit worried that some of our ideas are too good, and I don't want to just give them away.
Right.
I do want folks to do my bidding, but I don't want them to profit off of it, if that makes sense.
So it's kind of like a reverse Shark Tank, where people come to you and then ask for ideas.
I'll let somebody get their beak wet, but I don't want to just...
you still get the lion's share of the profit.
Yes,
it's just someone coming to you, and then you're like, oh, "Here's an idea. Clean
it's
my
not
room."
A pyramid scheme.
Okay, all right. I think we can probably run with that idea.
Okay.
I definitely want to get my beak wet. That's for sure.
I don't know. I'm probably going to bring my lawyer, but I'm happy to give it a shot.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead and stop this recording, and then we'll just go ahead and kick off the Advice Podcast.